Tennessee Republican member of the House, Tim Burchett, told CNN yesterday, and I'm not sure what he's basing this on, but he said that there are a lot of innocent people in the Jeffrey Epstein files, and there were a lot of innocent people who flew on Jeffrey Epstein's plane, and they were people who had just missed their flights and were kind of hitching a ride. Which, when you start to unpack that statement, first of all, it's like, was Jeffrey Epstein with his jet just like this benevolent jet owner who used to just hang out at airports waiting for people who missed their flight and be like, oh, where are you headed? I can take you. I can take you there. And just doing that for free. And it's like, if that statement were actually true, and Bill Clinton must be a really shitty traveler because he missed a whole slew of flights with the number of times that he appeared in Jeffrey Epstein's flight logs. And why would Donald Trump have needed to hitch a ride on Jeffrey Epstein's plane for missing a commercial flight when Donald Trump had his own plane? And, but it's like, it brings up the broader questions too, I mean, I had a really busy week this week. I haven't gotten around to the Ghislaine Maxwell interview transcript yet, but I'm also seeing countless videos from Trump supporters. Bear in mind that when Ghislaine Maxwell was originally indicted, I think it was in 2021, she was indicted for 2 counts of perjury for lying under oath in depositions in some of the civil suits that were going on. But she said that Donald Trump was a perfect gentleman. She never saw Donald Trump do anything, creepy, skeevy, or illegal. And she likes Donald Trump and liked him very much. And so it's like, I'm seeing the parade of inbred fart-huffing MAGA chuds making their videos over the last couple of days saying that Ghislaine Maxwell has cleared Donald Trump. In her trial, Ghislaine Maxwell was convicted of at least 5 felonies. She was sentenced to 20 years in prison. All of the felonies of which she was convicted had to do with having sex with minors. She was convicted of sex trafficking. She was convicted of sex trafficking of minors. So this is the person who the MAGA base is perfectly happy to have Ghislaine Maxwell vouch for Donald Trump's behavior. All of the victims, except for one, are still alive. Several of those victims have had very spicy stories to tell about Donald Trump. They don't want to hear from any of them. They don't believe any of them. They don't want to believe, and they refuse to believe firsthand accounts of victims. And I've made this point multiple times. Elected Republicans, Trump, MAGA, they do not care about victims. They care about perps. They do not care about victims at all. If the perp is a Trump-supporting MAGA pastor at a Republican megachurch, that guy gets a pass because he was tempted. And God works in mysterious ways, and God works through imperfect vessels. So that guy gets forgiven. Donald Trump, found liable for rape. He gets a pass. 34 felony convictions. He gets a pass. They don't care about victims. They care about perps. So who doesn't get a pass in their world? The undocumented immigrant who horrifically murdered a young woman named Laken Riley. Because she was murdered by an undocumented immigrant, she gets legislation with her name on it, even though her family begged Republicans not to do that. and to stop politicizing the murder of their daughter because she was murdered by an undocumented immigrant. They only care about the perps. And if a perp who has been convicted of multiple counts related to sex with minors, who has been convicted of sex trafficking, who has been convicted of sex trafficking of minors, says that Donald Trump is a good guy, I haven't seen any MAGA supporters making videos out of the complaint or filed by Katie Johnson, or the interviews given by Katie Johnson, who was 13 years old and looked exactly like Ivanka Trump when she alleges Donald Trump raped her in Jeffrey Epstein's Manhattan brownstone. I haven't seen them making videos about that. And now they're making videos talking about what an amazing person Ghislaine Maxwell is because she has vouched for Donald Trump. She was convicted of sex trafficking of minors. Multiple victims testified at her trial publicly about what she did to them. The DOJ has confirmed that Jeffrey Epstein had over 1,000 victims. Do you know who found those victims for him, knowing what Jeffrey Epstein was going to do to them? Ghislaine Maxwell. She lied to and tricked teenage girls, 13, 14, 15-year-old teenage girls. Lied to them, took them to dinner, took them shopping, took them to the movies, flattered them, complimented them, a grown-ass adult woman who they felt safe around because she was an adult woman. Many of them said she felt like their big sister. And Ghislaine Maxwell showed them that kind of treatment on purpose so that she could get them back to Jeffrey Epstein, knowing what he was going to do to them, oftentimes participating in what he did to them. And that's who MAGA has now vouching for Donald Trump's good character. That's who MAGA is now holding up and saying, well, she said that Donald Trump didn't do anything illegal. We have a half dozen juries at this point who've said that Donald Trump has done things that are illegal. Well, those jurors are all in the deep state. They've been bought and paid for just like the judges. Ghislaine Maxwell is now Donald Trump's best character witness, according to these people. That's pretty fucking wild.